In life, being emotionally stable is truly remarkable. When everyone around you is sinking into a state of emotional turmoil, the person who remains composed can help pull others out of negativity. Emotional stability acts as a beacon of light amidst chaos, providing guidance and a sense of calm to those struggling with their own emotional upheavals. Imagine a situation where your workplace is undergoing a crisis. Your ability to remain calm and collected not only helps in making better decisions, but also reassures your colleagues, fostering a more productive and harmonious environment. If one cannot control their emotions, they might destroy everything they have, no matter how much they possess. This lack of control can manifest in various ways. Relationships might suffer, professional life can become erratic, and personal well-being may deteriorate. Emotions, if not properly managed, can turn into a destructive force. For example, anger unchecked can lead to hasty decisions and conflicts, while prolonged sadness can result in a downward spiral of depression and isolation. Not mastering your mood means you'll surely become a slave to your emotions. This brings us to an essential conversation: how to become emotionally stable and overcome negative mental states. Wonders Dharma, hello everyone. Today, let's talk about how to become emotionally stable and overcome negative mental states. In psychology, there's a term called the wild horse effect. This concept illustrates that what often defeats us is not the events themselves, but the emotions that arise from those events. On the vast plains of Africa, there's a type of blood-sucking bat that attaches itself to the legs of wild horses. No matter how fast or angrily the horse runs, it can't shake off the bat. Many horses end up tormented to death. However, zoologists have discovered that the amount of blood these bats suck is minimal and not enough to kill the horses. The real cause of death is the horse's anger and panic, causing them to run until they are exhausted. This analogy perfectly captures how our emotional reactions to problems can often be more detrimental than the problems themselves. The wild horse effect is a powerful reminder that our perception and emotional response can exacerbate a situation far beyond its actual impact. In our lives, we often fall victim to this effect. For instance, a morning argument with your spouse can spoil your mood for the whole day. You might lash out at work, clash with customers, and achieve nothing by the end of the day. This chain reaction of negative emotions can lead to a series of unfortunate events, creating a cycle of distress that feeds on itself. Therefore, we need to learn how to distinguish whether the problem lies in the event itself or our emotions. This awareness is the first step toward emotional stability. By recognizing that our feelings may be intensifying the issue, we can begin to take steps to calm ourselves and address the situation more rationally. Developing this skill requires mindfulness and practice, but it can transform the way we handle challenges and improve our overall quality of life. Recognizing and managing emotions is a crucial aspect of emotional intelligence. Emotions, whether positive or negative, have a significant impact on our mental and physical well-being, our relationships, and our overall quality of life. To navigate life's challenges effectively, it is essential to develop the ability to identify our emotions, understand their origins, and manage them in a healthy and constructive way. The first step in managing emotions is to recognize them. This may seem straightforward, but it can be surprisingly challenging. Emotions are complex and multifaceted, often arising from a combination of external events and internal thoughts. They can be fleeting or persistent, subtle or intense. Being able to accurately identify what we are feeling is the foundation of emotional intelligence. To recognize emotions, we need to develop self-awareness. This involves paying attention to our thoughts, physical sensations, and behaviors, and noticing how they change in response to different situations. For example, you might notice that your heart rate increases and your muscles tense up when you are angry, or that you feel a sense of warmth and relaxation when you are happy. Keeping a journal can be a helpful tool for tracking your emotions and identifying patterns over time. Another important aspect of recognizing emotions is understanding the context in which they arise. Emotions are often triggered by specific events or interactions, but they can also be influenced by our past experiences, beliefs, and expectations. By reflecting on the situations that elicit strong emotional responses, we can gain insights into the underlying causes of our feelings. This can help us to better understand ourselves and to develop more effective strategies for managing our emotions. Once we have recognized our emotions, the next step is to manage them. This involves regulating our emotional responses in a way that is appropriate for the situation and that promotes our well-being and the well-being of others. Managing emotions does not mean suppressing them or pretending that they don't exist. Instead, it involves acknowledging our feelings, expressing them in a healthy way, and finding constructive ways to cope with them. One effective strategy for managing emotions is to practice mindfulness. Mindfulness involves being present in the moment and observing our thoughts and feelings without judgment. By cultivating a mindful awareness of our emotions, we can create a space between our emotional reactions and our actions. This allows us to respond more thoughtfully and deliberately, rather than reacting impulsively or habitually. Another important aspect of managing emotions is developing emotional regulation skills. These skills can help us to modulate the intensity and duration of our emotional responses. For example, if you are feeling anxious, you might use deep breathing exercises, progressive muscle relaxation, or visualization techniques to calm your mind and body. If you are feeling angry, you might take a walk, engage in physical activity, or talk to a trusted friend or therapist to process your feelings. In addition to mindfulness and emotional regulation, it is also important to develop healthy coping strategies for dealing with stress and adversity. This might involve setting realistic goals, seeking social support, practicing self-care, and finding activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. By building a toolkit of healthy coping mechanisms, you can better navigate life's challenges and maintain your emotional well-being. Empathy is another key component of emotional intelligence. It involves the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. By developing empathy, we can enhance our relationships, improve our communication, and foster a sense of connection and understanding with others. To develop empathy, it is important to practice active listening. This involves giving your full attention to the person you are communicating with and trying to understand their perspective and feelings. You might also reflect back what you have heard to ensure that you have accurately understood their message. By showing empathy and compassion, you can create a supportive and nurturing environment for yourself and others. In conclusion, recognizing and managing emotions is a fundamental aspect of emotional intelligence. By developing self-awareness, practicing mindfulness, cultivating emotional regulation skills, and fostering empathy, we can enhance our emotional well-being and build stronger, more meaningful relationships. By investing in our emotional intelligence, we can navigate life's challenges with greater resilience and grace, and create a more fulfilling and balanced life. Here's a story about two men who encountered a lion in an African forest. One man calmly bent down to tie his shoelaces. The other, puzzled, asked, "Why are you tying your shoelaces?" "We can't outrun a lion." The man tying his shoelaces replied, "I just need to run faster than you." Though darkly humorous, this story shows that in the same situation, some people generate negative emotions while others create positive ones to face difficulties. This tale serves as a metaphor for how different individuals perceive and respond to stress and challenges. While one person might succumb to panic, another can remain composed, focusing on practical solutions rather than the magnitude of the threat. In many real-life scenarios, emotional stability can be the difference between success and failure. For instance, consider a high-stakes business negotiation. An emotionally stable negotiator can stay calm under pressure, think clearly, and make rational decisions, while an emotionally volatile person might react impulsively, jeopardizing the deal. The ability to manage emotions effectively allows individuals to navigate complex situations with a clear mind, leading to better outcomes. Why do successful people rarely let emotions dictate their actions? Someone once said, "Look around you. All those who easily get angry are not wise people, and their lives are usually chaotic." This observation highlights a fundamental truth about emotional intelligence. People who easily lose their temper often find themselves in a cycle of conflict and turmoil. Their inability to control their anger leads to strained relationships, poor decision-making, and a general sense of disarray in their lives. Successful individuals, on the other hand, understand that every fit of anger is a sign of foolishness. They have one goal in mind: solving the problem. If they can't solve it, they'll try another way. They don't let emotions steer them off course. Emotions create problems, but cannot solve them. For example, a CEO facing a sudden market downturn might feel fear and anxiety. However, instead of succumbing to these emotions, a successful leader will analyze the situation, develop a strategic plan, and take decisive action. They recognize that allowing emotions to dictate their actions would only exacerbate the problem. In personal relationships, too, emotional intelligence plays a crucial role. Consider a couple going through a difficult period in their marriage. One partner might react to every disagreement with anger, while the other strives to remain calm and communicate effectively. The partner who manages their emotions can help de-escalate conflicts and find constructive solutions, strengthening the relationship. Conversely, uncontrolled anger can lead to frequent arguments, resentment, and eventually, the breakdown of the relationship. Emotional intelligence also involves understanding and managing the emotions of others. A successful manager, for example, knows how to motivate their team by recognizing and addressing the emotional needs of their employees. They create an environment where team members feel valued and supported, which boosts morale and productivity. In contrast, a manager who lacks emotional intelligence might ignore their team's feelings, leading to dissatisfaction, low performance, and high turnover. No one can control your emotions unless you let them. This principle empowers individuals to take responsibility for their emotional responses. In a stressful situation, such as being criticized at work, you have the choice to react with anger or to take a step back, reflect on the feedback, and use it as an opportunity for growth. By choosing how to respond, you reclaim your power and prevent external circumstances from dictating your emotional state. A practical example of this can be seen in sports. Elite athletes train not only their bodies but also their minds to handle pressure. A tennis player, for instance, might face a match point against them. While the natural reaction might be panic, a well-trained athlete focuses on their breathing, visualizes successful shots, and maintains composure. This mental discipline often makes the difference between winning and losing. To further illustrate, let's consider the story of Thomas Edison. When asked about his many failed attempts to create the light bulb, Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This perspective showcases his emotional resilience. Instead of becoming discouraged by failure, Edison remained focused on his goal and saw each setback as a learning opportunity. His ability to manage his emotions and maintain a positive outlook ultimately led to his success. In conclusion, practical examples and stories highlight the importance of recognizing and managing emotions. Whether in the face of a lion or a life challenge, emotional stability allows individuals to navigate difficulties with clarity and purpose. By understanding the impact of emotions and developing strategies to manage them, we can achieve greater success and fulfillment in both our personal and professional lives. For instance, when driving, if someone lightly bumps into your car, you may feel the urge to shout. This urge comes from our ancestors' evolutionary response, fight or flight, when facing danger. But you must remind yourself not to lose this primal control. The person who chooses to get angry is choosing to flee because they are avoiding solving the problem. There's a high-level communication technique called non-emotional communication. Imagine a child at a park with their mother. The child drops an ice cream they just got, and the mother yells, "Can't you hold it properly?" But the child calmly replies, "Mom, I know I made a mistake, but can you talk to me calmly?" This is a sign of emotional stability. We often misunderstand that adding emotion will make others understand us better, but that's not true. The concept of sense of ease is very popular online. Many people lack this sense of ease. For instance, if you forget to bring something while traveling, or if a hotel room is fully booked because you forgot to reserve it, You might feel your world is falling apart. But the event has happened. You just need to find a solution, and usually the problem is minor. Remember, don't let your anger exceed your capabilities. If you can't handle the consequences, don't let loose your erratic emotions. A professor once told his students a funny story, and they all laughed heartily. Then he continued his lecture. After a while, he told the same story again with excitement, but only a few students chuckled. Unexpectedly, he retold the story yet again, but no one laughed. The professor then said, "You can't keep laughing at the same joke, so why do you keep suffering from the same sorrow?" Anger is punishing yourself with others' mistakes. Anxiety is punishing yourself with your own mistakes. What hurts you the most isn't the knife someone else stabs you with, but your habit of pulling it out, looking at it angrily, and then stabbing it back into yourself. This repeated self-inflicted pain is the greatest hurt. So, keep moving forward, letting the pain fade, and look ahead instead of living in the painful past. 2 highly effective psychological strategies can help reduce negative emotions. The first is forward-looking psychology. Recall past incidents that made you sad or angry, like a breakup, being deceived, failing an exam, or being fired. How much of those negative emotions remain now? This is the power of forward-looking psychology. Whatever you are currently experiencing, try to view it from a future perspective. Ask yourself, how will I feel about this in 10 minutes, 10 days, or even 10 years? The answer is clear. In the long run, it won't matter much. The second strategy is to play the role of a writer. Narrate your life events as if you were writing a story. This gives you a sense of detachment and helps you analyze situations more objectively. When you write, you explore different angles and find meaning even in challenging experiences. For myself, I have made many mistakes in the past, and I spent a long time in stress when old things kept appearing in my mind. I have a friend, she works in a cafe, and I often visit that cafe. But suddenly one day, she told me, "Don't come here anymore." At that time, I was very sad, and these negative thoughts appeared in my mind for a long time. Later, after understanding the reason she did that was because her boyfriend didn't like me, it seemed like my pain disappeared by 80%. And then I realized that those negative thoughts appearing were a very normal thing. The first thing I did to solve these thoughts was to find the cause. I tried to reconnect with old friends who I had hurt, and after knowing the cause, I was able to untie my knot. Remember, maintaining emotional stability and overcoming negative states is a continuous journey. By practicing self-awareness, controlling immediate reactions, and using forward-looking psychology, we can navigate life's challenges with grace and resilience. Emotions can either be our greatest allies or our fiercest adversaries. Choose to master them and lead a life driven by reason, not reaction. If you like this video, you can leave one share and 1 subscribe so that more people can know this content. See you in the next videos.